introduced a new policy where Class 10 board exams will not just be held once but twice. Meanwhile, carrying the badge of India proudly on his shoulders, Shubhanshu Shukla has scripted history today. Also, billionaire Jeff Bezos is all set to tie the knot in a lavish 3-day wedding in Venice, in Italy, but not everybody is quite happy with the sheer opulence of it. Meanwhile, it seems like global embarrassment is in for Donald Trump once again. Wherever he goes, this embarrassment follows. This time, his lies on the nuke site attack in Iran have been exposed for the world to see. We'll get you all that updates on the trending. Not just this, we are also tracking a story from New York. An Indian origin Muslim man has been elected. In fact, he is in the mayor primary race. He has won the primary race for mayoral elections for the very first time. And there has been a lot of controversy surrounding Zohran Mamdani. So who is Zohran Mamdani? We'll tell you. The Indian Connect as well. India's very own golden boy Neeraj Chopra has clinched the top spot once again. He has clinched gold once again. We'll get you all that and more in this power-packed edition of Trending Tonight with me, Rakshita Mishra. CBSE has announced a new norm. Now, the 10th board examinations will not just be held once but twice. You heard me right, viewers. The Central Board of Secondary Education has approved a biannual model of examination from the 10th class, which supposedly will reduce the pressure of a single high-stakes examination. Now, under the new policy, it will be mandatory for all the students to appear for the Phase 1 exam. The second phase, however, will be optional. This will give the students the chance to reappear for the exams if they wish to improve their scores. And as reported, only the highest score between the two exams will be the final result. While this is aimed at reducing the students' stress, not everybody is quite impressed with it. Some parents and students also claim that this might just add on to the existing academic pressure. All right, viewers, now shifting focus to the other big story that we're tracking. SpaceX's latest Dragon spacecraft made its debut flight this morning. Aboard this pioneering spacecraft are the 4-member AXIOM 4 mission to the International Space Station on behalf of Houston-based AXIOM Space. The brand new Crew Dragon capsule lifted off precisely at 12:01 p.m. Indian Standard Time from the Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center of NASA in Florida, marking a powerful start to this mission. Watch this historic liftoff on your screens.
For 3 nations, a new chapter in space takes flight. Godspeed, AX4.
Now, in his message to India, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla says, and I quote, "The tricolor on my shoulder is reminding me that I'm not alone. This is not the start of my international space journey, but of our country." In fact, just take a listen into this message, viewers.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, what a ride! 40 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। इस समय हम 7.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से पृथ्वी के चारों तरफ घूम रहे हैं और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना गर्व से चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत के इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Now, after the liftoff, Commander Peggy revealed the name of the new SpaceX Dragon spacecraft headed to the ISS. Meet Grace.
Orbital insertion, SpaceX, and we had an incredible ride uphill, and now we like set our course for the International Space Station aboard the newest member of the Dragon fleet, our spacecraft named Grace. Grace is more than a name. It reflects the elegance with which we move through space against the backdrop of Earth. It speaks to the refinement of our mission, the harmony of science and spirit, and the unmerited favor we carry with humility. Grace reminds us that spaceflight is not just a feat of engineering, but an act of goodwill. Benefit of every human, everywhere.
And viewers, just a short while back, I spoke to the man who designed the mission badge for Shubhanshu Shukla. Manish Tripathi tells us the story of this insignia on Shubhanshu Shukla's, Group Captain Shukla's uniform. Well, thanks so much, Manish, for joining us on Republic TV. It's a proud moment for all of us and for you as well, because he's carrying your design there with him too. Tell us the story about this badge, because that has very interesting features also, because it combines somewhere the heritage and technology.
Thank you so much, Rakshita, for having me here. First of all, I would like to congratulate the entire nation for this feat. And Jai Hind, I'll start with that. Jai Bharat. This is definitely, really, big for me. We do design a lot of things, but something which, when we get to do things which is for the nation, for the countrymen, I think that's the biggest thing. And for any individual, it's like it's a great achievement. The mission badge in itself is a sign. Basically, I'll tell you, because once I got in touch with Shubhanshu Shukla, so he very categorically mentioned that we need to design a badge which is there to inspire the coming generation. The badge which carries the legacy, which if somebody sees that badge, and that badge can tell what is India all about in space, and the legacy which we carry, and what we probably aspire to do, what are our ambition.
So, if you talk about there are the phases of moon also. There is the feature of Aryabhatta, Jantar Mantar. Everything is there. So, you could just tell us the idea behind all this imagery or the symbols, the signs that have been used.
Basically, I personally felt that obviously, like if you say Aryabhatta itself, it's already the 50th anniversary of the Aryabhatta, the space. While you see the moon, the lunar, it's also portrays the growing legacy of India in the lunar, space. Of course, you'll see a lot of mathematical sign, which resonates with India in many ways, and then there are astronomical signs.
Well, that's beautiful. I think the entire thought that has gone into it, and what you told about how Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla also had this contribution of, that he envisioned something that would inspire the coming generations. But also tell us how long did it take to design? How did you just put things together? Were you really thinking very hard, or was it very simple? Did it just come very in a flow?
So first of all, because he happens to be my school senior, so we are from the same hometown, and that's when we were discussing about what to do, what not to do, how to put. And his vision was very clear that he was very well focused on the fact that it has to inspire the generations to come. He wanted that the generation to come should get sort of lured, or rather not inspired, to explore more. When they see, they should get inspired.
Okay, so when was the last time you had any interaction with Group Captain Shukla? Did you send him wishes and ever he mentioned about the space mission to you?
Yes, I kept it very. It is also important to probably act sensible when you are connected to such a person, and also at this point of time, I felt it is very, very important for him to concentrate on his mission. So rather than bothering him on calls or messages, I just simply dropped a message, wishing him all the best for the mission, and he obviously he reciprocated with all the warmth.
Thank you so much, Manish, for joining us on Republic TV and sharing the idea behind that very special badge. And of course, India continues to keep an eye on this space mission, as you would be also doing. Thank you so much, Manish. Now, billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and media mogul Lauren Sanchez are all set to exchange vows in Venice in a lavish 3-day wedding celebration that promises to be a spectacle of extreme wealth and luxury. However, their grand affair is stirring controversy, with activists from Greenpeace protesting the event. Now, citing concerns over wealth inequality, tax avoidance and the impact of luxury tourism on the fragile city, these protests are making headlines. In a stunning display of opulence now, the multi-day wedding will be hosted aboard Bezos' $500 million super yacht, that is Koru, and promises to be a celebration of extreme wealth and luxury. Guests from around the world will be treated to handcrafted Venetian glassware, exclusive suites from Rosa Salva, and an extravagant showcase of couture bridal fashion. Meanwhile, activists from Greenpeace Italy and the British group Everyone Hates Elon have raised their voices against the billionaires, demanding more from them than just extravaganza. The message is clear. The critics argue that such access in a city already grappling with over-tourism and inequality is a glaring symbol of systemic imbalance, in their words. And while Bezos and Sanchez have made headlines for asking their guests to donate to charity instead of bringing gifts, the backlash has only intensified. For many, this gesture does not go far enough. As the world's richest individuals host this private event that seems to bypass the reality space by everyday citizens, the call for greater accountability from the ultra-wealthy grows even louder. It's time now to take a look at all the trends that are running hot today on social media. Months after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was reprimanded by the US President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance for not wearing a suit to the Oval Office, he was seen suiting up for dinner with the president. The leaders are both in The Hague for the NATO summit, and seeing Zelensky suiting up to meet Trump has the internet erupting. Speaking of Zelensky, it appears that the Ukrainian president snuck into the NATO family photo in The Hague. Despite Ukraine not being one of the 32 NATO countries and trying so hard to be into NATO, Zelensky made an appearance in the picture. He's seen squeezed next to Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Union, the European Commission, and behind French President Emmanuel Macron. FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly dug up evidence that China interfered with the 2020 US presidential elections, and the agency had earlier shut down an investigation that showed the former director bearing proof. Now it has been reported that Patel plans to hand over to Congress proof that former FBI Director Christopher Wray had lied to the Congress. Chaos erupted in Mumbai Metro after a train halted at the station was engulfed in smoke. An empty private bus caught fire near Devipara Metro Station on the Western Express Highway in Mumbai's Borivali area on Tuesday afternoon, sparking panic among the metro commuters. There has been heavy flooding in China's Sandu County. Now take a look at these dramatic visuals of a truck cab dangling after a highway bridge collapsed, leaving the driver trapped inside. He was reportedly rescued later on. US Vice President J.D. Vance thought President Donald Trump issued a nuclear attack by pressing a red button. But no, that was just the Diet Coke button. Take a look at this clip to see where the confusion stemmed from.
This foreign leader, and the president looks over at me, puts the foreign leader on mute and says, "This is not going very well," and he presses the red button. and my eyes get really big, and I'm like, "Mr. President, you know what just happened?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Nuclear, nuclear." And 2 minutes.
Neeraj Chopra, India's Olympic and world champion in javelin throw, won the men's title at the Ostrava Golden Spike 2025 in the Czech Republic with a best throw of 85.29 meters, marking his second consecutive international victory after his recent triumph at the Paris Diamond League. In yet yet another major global embarrassment for the United States president, a bombshell leak from a preliminary US intelligence report has ignited a firestorm of controversy. It reveals that Trump's strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities fell far short of his claims of complete destruction. Now, according to the report from the Defense Intelligence Agency, in fact, before that, we will just take a listen into what Trump, what is the reaction coming in.
Report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
So according to the report from the Defense Intelligence Agency, the strikes only managed to set back Iran's nuclear program by a few months, leaving the country's stockpile of enriched uranium intact and its centrifuge operations largely functional. A 5-page preliminary report assessing the US strikes on Operation Midnight Hammer suggests that US strikes may have only sealed off the two entrances of the nuke facility in Fordo. The report further contends that the underground building may not have collapsed, and Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium was moved before the strikes, and Trump's obliteration claim may be just exaggerated. The assessment, viewers, paints a starkly different picture from Trump's assertions of a spectacular military success, instead suggesting that Iran could potentially restart its nuclear program within months. But viewers, Trump being Trump has had a complete meltdown now. He had a string of insults ready for the news networks at a press conference who had carried this story.
Tremendous success, and this is the New York Times. I call it the failing New York Times. It's going to hell. And CNN, which, as you know, very few people are watching. This was an unbelievable hit by genius pilots and genius people in the military, and they're not being given credit for it because we have scum that's in this group, and not all of you are. You have some great reporters, but you have scum. CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick. And what they've done is they're trying to make this unbelievable victory into something less. Now, even they admit that it was hit very hard.
Just hours later, US President Donald Trump on Wednesday posted a video on his Truth Social handle featuring a compilation of B-2 stealth fighter jets dropping bombs at different places. All right, viewers, now at Republic Media Network, we celebrate the dreams of those who rise to grow, to build and to lead. Building Bharat, real estate, real impact. Republic Media Network's inaugural real estate conclave on the 27th of June celebrates the future of India's urban transformation.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ. डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा. अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ. सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
विमल में गुलिस्तां के ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुलें तो जी लग जाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की जुबान में खुद को ऐसे डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं. विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं? विमल, बोलो जुबान कैसी.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल. ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े. क्या निराला MDH मसाला.
T-10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff.
For three nations, a new chapter in space takes flight. Godspeed, AX4.
T plus 30 seconds into flight with the AXIOM 4 crew on board Dragon, headed to the International Space Station. Waiting to hear call-outs from the Falcon 9 engineering team.
Power and telemetry nominal. Stage 1 throttle down.
We're throttling down the 9 Merlin engines. We're into the throttle bucket, preparing for max Q.
Max Q. Vehicle is supersonic.
We should begin throttling the Merlin engines back up now.
Stage 1 throttle up.
Mission control confirming
Stage 1 Bravo.
That throttle up, and we
Copy
are
1 Bravo.
hearing our commander Peggy Whitson call out the first abort mode. Each of these are a specific phase where if for any reason we had an in-flight
Impact
abort,
show underway.
Dragon would abort to a safe location. So we're going to call out each of those milestones as we pass through them. We also just heard the call out for MVAC chill. We're going to trickle just a little bit of liquid oxygen now into the turbo pumps on board our Merlin vacuum engine on stage 2 in preparation for second engine start 1, which will of course be shortly after stage separation. Now, at this point, we are just about 30 seconds away from 4 events that are going to happen in rapid succession. The first one will be main engine cutoff, or MECO, then again followed by stage separation, ignition of that second stage engine, which we are already
Stage 1
preparing for, as well as the first stage's boost back burn. With that confirmation from Mission Control that we are throttling the first stage engines down, we are expecting MECO at T plus 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed. Stage 1 boost back startup and back ignition.
नमस्कार मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, व्हाट अ राइड। 40 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। इस समय हम 7.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से पृथ्वी के चारों तरफ घूम रहे हैं और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत के इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff.
For three nations, a new chapter in space.
बात को आज वही व्यक्ति ने 2014 में पूरे देश से उखाड़ कर फेंक।
Home Minister Amit Shah releases the Emergency Diaries, a book that chronicles Prime Minister Modi's role in the fight for democracy. Home Minister also slammed Congress for murdering democracy in 1975.
Had we not succeeded with that hit ended the war. I don't want to use an example of Nagasaki, but that was essentially the same thing. That ended that war. This ended that with the war.
Trump compared strikes on Iran to Hiroshima, says strikes on the nuclear program of Iran was the hit that ended the war. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla sets off on key AXIOM 4 mission, says this mission is the beginning of India's human space program. 4 years after the Antila bomb scare, big allegation against Parambir Singh. Salil Deshmukh says he was the mastermind of the plot.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur.